Nau mai haere mai ki here tauga ara rau haukunu haro te kahu ka manu taupu o tātou. Nau mai haere mai whakawhitiwhiti mai ngā kōrero, whakawhitiwhiti mai ngā whakaaro, e pāna ki a ngai tātou o tātou te wairoa. He nui ngā honunga o here tauga ki te wā kāinga, I puta mai here tauga mai te wairoa. Kātahi I te pakanga o te teteranga o ngā niho ka hunuku ngā whanaunga o te wairo ki konei here tauga, ara ko te māmo o here te mō, te whae o here te mō, ara ko te māmo o te whatu āpiti. Nā reira, hoki mai ki te wā kāinga. Tika tonu mihi atu ki a rātou mākua whiturangi hea, takoto whakai I te mate, tāte te hunga ora, nau mai, haere mai, kei a koe rihani.
E iho atohungia mātai, e tō mātai mātua I te rangi, kia kapito e ngoa, kia tae mai tō rangatiratanga, kia mehetia tāu e pai ai ki runga ki te whenua kia rite anō ki tō te rangi. Hō mai kia mātau ai nei he taro mō mātau mō tēnei rā, muru o mātau hara, me mātau hoki e muru nei o te hunga e hara ana kia mātai. Aua hoki mātau e kawea kia whakawaia, ngari whakaorangia mātau I te kino, no hoki te rangatiratanga, te kaha me te kororia, ake, āmi. Ka tahi, ka rua, ka mihi. Ka miki, tū mai aua, tū mai maunga, ko koe kai takahia no tia ea. Au ko tātou o te wairoa, e mihi nei, e tangi nei, kia tātou, e hui nei I tēnei ata. Miki, ko ngā mate kairungi a koutou, ngā mate kairungi a mātou, me whakawhai tu mai I konei, kia mihia, kia tangihia, kia poroporo aki hia, I runga I te kupu, haere atu rā, oki mai. Ko rātou kia rātou, ko tātou te hunga ora kia tātou, tēnā tātou, kātua. Me utu ki ngā mihi ka tika, nā reira, kōtui, tēnei mātou, tēnei ngā whanaunga o te raki, ko tae mai ki te hora I te kaupapa nei e takotune. Kāre he tuaroa he ngā mihi, engari kua mōhio kai te noho taringa muhu kai ki ngā kōrero kai te whakaputa I tēnei wā. Nā reira, apiti hono, tātai hono, ko rātou te hunga mate kia rātou, apiti hono, tātai hono, ko tātou te hunga aura kia tātou, tēnā tātou, kātua.
Tūtira mai mai iwi, tātou e. Tūtira mai ngā iwi, tātou e. Whai a te maramatanga, me te aroha I ngā iwi, kia tapatari, kia taria, tātou e. Tātou e.
Nā reira, apiti hono, tātai hono, te hunga mate ki te hunga mate, apiti hono, tātai hono, ko tātou te hunga aura kia tātou, tēnā tātou, katoa, kaira.
Kia ora tātou. My name's Leon Symes, the chairperson of Tātou Tawairo Trust. I'd just like to acknowledge Audrey and Richard for the opening mihi and karakia, and welcome everyone else here today to this, our third guest information session about the final arrangements concerning the representation and assets for Tātou Tawairo Trust. I'd just like to welcome you all here and come to listen to the presentation. I see some of you have got booklets about what that model is, the final model that is. We've taken your feedback from last year through a number of engagement hui that we held through last year, as well as engage some advisors as well, and kind of put that all together today to be in this position to present to you what the recommendations are from the trustees. So just acknowledge my trustees that are here. They've been working tirelessly for the last 2 years on this. It hasn't been easy, but I'm hoping that what we're about to see in the presentation, as well as in the booklets, you'll see what the hard work has all been about. So we ran through a unique process to get to this. Not a lot of other PSGs kind of ask the membership what they want in terms of seeing the final vision and the final model. But we thought that was a key decision for the members to make, so that we can then move forward to invest wisely, to make sure we have the right systems in place in terms of the final model. So I'd just like to get our trustees up to introduce themselves, so you know after the hui, if you have any specific questions, at least you can approach them and then and have that kōrero. Ka pai. They all have to take into the mic because our people online can't hear them.
Kia ora koutou. My name is Moana Rongo, and I one of the trustees from the Rongo Mai Wahine Ngaitara Katoa Kahui. Kia ora.
Kia ora whānau, my name's Heta Koko, and I represent Paki Niuarua, and that's Whakaki Iwite and Namotu, and the other trustee couldn't be here today. He is Piri Mungro.
Kia ora tātou, ko Rihari Niania taku ingoa, and I represent the Wairua Waikare Moana Māori Trust Board Kahui, and this is one of several kahui that's going through a transition just at this present time, and the kahui that we're about to transit to is the one in your information booklet called Te Hononga o Ngā Awa. Ko tēnei rōpū, ko ngā hapu o tēnei rōpū, tīmata mai I runga o Erepeti, Ngāti Hinanga, Te Aitanga o Pauranga Hua, heke iho ki te reinga, ki Ngāti Hinehika, ki Ngai Kōhatu, heke ihoa ki te Pūtahi, marae, me o na karangaranga Ngāti Hine Pēhinga, whakawhiti te awa o te Wairua ki Ngāti Pēhi o te Aranui, heke ihoa ki roto o Ngāti Hine Mihi, hapu marae, puta noa ki ngā whānau o te whānau whānga, te whānau o Hine Manuhiri ki Waipāwa. Koe nei mātou e mihi nei ki a tātou katoa.
Kia ora tātou katoa, ko Rāmoto Kiriara te haukainga o te whānau huata, o te hapu o Ngāti Mihi, Ngai Tamatirangi, Ngāti Mākoro, Ngāti Hinganga me Ngāti Pareroa. Ko huia huata tōku ingoa, ko hau tētahi o ngā pau o te kāhui ngā tokorima Hine Manuhiri. Kia ora koutou katoa.
Kia ora whānau. My name is Phil Beattie. I'm a trustee, one of the trustees for Tapakarau Tuarua, which is sort of in a transition as well to Whānui. My other colleague, Carwyn Jones, he's down in Wellington. My mother is Christy, Kaimona Christy, and Hoi Tawa Wirihana. My father goes back to Edwards, Kārena Taranui, his older name, and Takawe BT. So we represent Ruataniwha Marae, Hapu, Takitimu Hapu, Huramo, and Tāwhatu Amaru. Kia ora.
Kia ora whānau, my name is Johnina Symes, and I'm one of the representatives of Ngāti Rākai Pāka Iwi and 5 hapu that cover all our other historical hapu. So we're excited about this journey, and it's awesome to see you all here today. I'll just hand you over to
Tēnā koutou te whānau. My name is Pauline Symes. I'm the daughter of Ngā Huia Matairangi from Hamoana. It's lovely to see all the whānau here. Some new faces. So I'm glad that the aunties have managed to pull extra people in from our home who haven't been with us along this journey. So welcome to our journey. Kia ora.
Ka te rā. I te mea tīmatanga o tēnei tūnei tāku e mihi ana ahau kia iho o ngā manu I tōne ingoa te matua te tamata wairua tapu. Me ngāne hera pono me te māngai hei tautoko mai ai nei ā ke nei ai. Ka tahi ka rua ka tautoko ahau ngā mihi katoa I tēnei ata I te tīmata hanga o tēnei hui. Ako tōku nei ingoa, ko Bobby McGregor tōku nei ingoa mai te hapu o ngā tukuru pakiaka. Ka tuau a tētahi o ngā kaimāngai mo tēnei puari nei. Mo te rōpu rā o te wairo tā pokarau tuatahi. Nā reira, tēnā rā tātou katoa.
Kia ora, I'm Oha Manuel and I'm a representative for Te Wairo Tapukurau 1. We have, that's Taiho Marae, Te Poho Tukauwati, Te Poho Te Akiwai and Te Hauaraki Marae. We had 46 hapu on entrance, 33 aren't in the, haven't been included in the Settlement Act, so we're left with 13 at the moment that are in the Settlement Act. Thank you. Nice to see you all here too. It's always a good crowd from Napier.
Kia ora koutou katoa. Ko api ata tāpini au. No Tauranga, no Takitumu, I along with Richard Nenia and the other trustee for Te Hononga o Ngā Awa, or what was currently listed as Waikato and Moana Wairua Māori Trust Board. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. Kia ora.
And just also acknowledging the trustees that can't be here today, Carmen Morrell, Piri Munro and Carvin Jones, so that makes up your 14 trustees, so apologies from them. There's some tonguing and personal other commitments on, so. But we are endeavouring to get as many as trustees around to this information hui as possible, because they know that we're the ones who've represented you through the last couple of years to come up with this particular model, so it's keen that we front this for you and present it to you, and so that you can start to ask questions if you have any. Also acknowledgement of our providers here, Campbell Square, they'll be live streaming it, so we know a lot of our whānau watch this via the internet. It's a key technology nowadays. Those who can't make it to Long Tahui or especially live overseas, and they want to also be involved, so we're just looking at mechanisms and means to include them. Also, you know, there's some whānau at the back here representing different kauri. We've got Whakaki Nui Arua, Te Hongo Ngā Awa, and Taupokoro Whānui there as well. And then in the corner, as you were seeing entering, is Deb from the Trust Board, our admin services. So if you've got any registration questions, voting questions, Deb is the person to ask. And also, if you haven't signed the attendance register, please do that as well. So, just moving forward before we go to the presentation, health and safety is always a key in concern. Toilets obviously over there on the right, left-hand side of the stage. Exits are clearly marked through the stairs as well as out here. And if we have to go through the restaurant in an emergency, we can go through the restaurant, as I said. And if you wanted to smoke, smoking areas outside as well. So hopefully no further delays from me. We'll get straight into the presentation. It takes about 40 minutes to watch, but hopefully the booklet and what the presentation we're about to see answers or partly answer some of your questions. So after that, we'll have some questions and answers regarding any part-time you may have that's come out of the presentation. So that we'll be here to answer those as best as we can. Kia ora tātou.
Bye. Tēnā koutou katoa. Nau mai, haere mai. Thank you for joining us today as we take the next step in our settlement journey and vote on our final representation and asset arrangements. We are Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust, the post-settlement government's entity, or PSG, for the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. It is our responsibility on behalf of our iwi, hapu and whānau to manage the redress that will be received as part of our settlement with the Crown. Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa has 14 initial trustees elected by our iwi, hapu and whānau who are helping to ensure we build a solid foundation for the future growth and development of our settlement redress. Our initial trustees aim to serve a term of 2 years. Their first term began in November 2016. Our initial trustees are responsible for managing and overseeing a review process in relation to the ownership arrangement for the Trust's assets and representation, our current mahi. Consulting with representatives of our iwi and hapu to decide whether to purchase any properties that might become available during the initial 2-year period. Maintaining records and information that will facilitate the initial trustees' preparation of the first annual plan, 5-year strategic plan and annual report. This presentation covers the key points in your information booklet relating to the final representation model for Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. Following this presentation, we will have 30 minutes for you to ask any questions you may have. Ka tahi ka kaputi tātou, so you can meet your representatives and our support teams who are here today. Also, if you are not yet a registered member of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa, we can help you to register today so that you can vote. In August and November 2017, we held engagement hui around Aotearoa to seek your thoughts and feedback on our aspirations, values and principles, and on potential models for our asset and representation arrangements. It was great to see so many whānau participating, and lots of new faces too, with many tuning in to watch the live-streamed videos and sending us their messages online. We received invaluable feedback from you during this time, which has shaped our trustees' mahi over 2018. We are now back on a hikoi across Aotearoa, holding a round of hui in Te Wairoa, Turanganui-a-Kiwa, Here Taunga, Rotorua, Kirikiriroa, Tāmaki Makaurau, Te Papaioia, Te Whanganui-a-Tara me o Tautahi. We are presenting exactly the same information at each hui, which will cover a recap of our settlement journey to get to this point, and how we will manage the settlement redress, including how kāhui representation and our unit trust model will work. The hui will be an opportunity to ask all the pātai you have, and also, if you haven't voted online or by post already, to vote on our representation and asset arrangement model and trust deed changes via special ballot box. Your vote is really important to us. Remember, it is you who will determine if we can move forward with the proposed final asset and representation arrangements. It's you, our people, who ultimately decide on the future of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa. Our settlement journey began more than 30 years ago when our kaumātua first lodged historical treaty claims with the Waitangi Tribunal in the early 1980s for the area between Turanganui-a-Kiwa and Mohaka, the Wairoa Inquiry District. Ultimately, our whakapapa and whanaungatanga helped us to work together. Our iwi, hapu and whānau eventually formed into a single large natural grouping under the name of Te Tira Whakaimi o Te Wairoa, made up of 7 clusters of iwi, hapu and whānau groups across the district. It took years of intense discussion, consultation and negotiation to finally get to our deed of settlement and PSG, Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust ratification, which our iwi, hapu and whānau confirmed in 2016. Our official deed of settlement signing ceremony was held in Wairoa on the 26th of November 2016. The iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairua Claims Settlement Bill had its first and second readings in Parliament on the 20th of December 2017 and 15th of March 2018 respectively, which were well attended by whānau. On the 6th of September 2018, we celebrated the third and final reading of our settlement bill in Parliament. This was an historic occasion for our iwi, hapu and whānau, and the culmination of many, many years of hard work that our tipuna started. Our settlement gained the royal assent on the 13th of September 2018 and is now law. We are now here today to present to you the final representation and asset arrangements for Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua Trust. You are being asked to vote on the following special resolutions. The adult registered members resolve to amend the Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua Trust Deed as set out in the marked up Trust Deed entitled Revised Version November 2018, and approve the unit trust model as the asset and representation model for the Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua Trust. The Trust needs to pass this special resolution so that we can have an agreed representation model and way of managing our settlement assets. The Trust asks all whānau to review the proposed representation and asset arrangement model and then to vote yes to approve the special resolution. The special resolution must receive at least 75% support of valid votes cast for it to be passed. The current trust deed, ratified in August 2018, has been updated to reflect the proposed final representation and asset arrangement model. The marked up trust deed, entitled Revised Version November 2018, can be accessed on our website in the Documents section. If the special resolution does not receive the required level of support, the current trust deed, ratified in August 2018, will stand and a new set of trustee elections will be held. What it really means is that we will lose the opportunity to move forward that our iwi, hapu and whānau have been waiting for so long. Whānau, our ultimate goal has been to move as quickly as possible through the legislative process to complete Crown involvement in this part of our journey and move into a position of holding our destiny in our own hands. We are pleased that we have achieved this, and it is now solely up to our iwi, hapu and whānau to make the big decisions on our future. This is an exciting time. It's you, our people, who'll decide on the final asset and representation arrangements. Your participation in this vote is crucial to a successful future for the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairua. The voting period is open from Saturday the 3rd of November to 12 p.m. Monday 26th of November 2018. The Independent Returning Officer, elections.com, is running this voting process. All adult registered members of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua are eligible to vote. There are 3 ways to vote. You can vote by post, online, or by ballot box at these hui. For voting inquiries, including requests for replacement voter packs, please contact the election helpline on 0800 666 946 or, for overseas residents, 0064 377 3530 or email iro@elections.com. What happens after the vote? We expect to receive the results within 1 week of vote closing. The Trust will notify all members of the outcome of the vote, so keep an eye on your email as well as the Trust's website and Facebook page for updates. If the Trust achieves the required support for introducing this final representation and asset arrangement model, the Trust will make the required changes to the trust deed and new kāhui Tātou Tātou representatives will be elected by the end of March 2019. The Tātou Tātou representatives will be the directors of the corporate trustee of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua Trust. Our new tātou tātou representatives will focus on finalising tātou tātou o te Wairoa 5-year strategic plan, which is in draft form at the moment. A consultation process will be run next year amongst our members so that we can get your feedback on this important document. At our engagement hui in 2017, we presented some possible models for the future structure of tātou tātou o te Wairoa for you to consider. We discussed how these models could be applied separately or parts taken from each to create a final model. You told us what you thought of the models presented to you and why, what aspects you liked and what parts you didn't like, and what further detail you needed that would enable you to make an informed decision. We have listened to your views and those contained in further information gathered and have brought them together to develop a recommended final representation and asset arrangement model for the future structure of tātou tātou o te Wairoa. It is this final model that you are being asked to vote on now. If you vote yes to this model, and we strongly encourage you do, this is how we will manage the settlement redress received on the settlement date, 12th of November 2018, to benefit our iwi, hapu and whānau for generations to come. Our recommended representation and asset arrangement is 7 kāhui, cluster groups, each with a legal structure in place in order to be a unit holder in tātou tātou o te Wairoa Trust upon settlement. A unit trust model, with each kāhui holding units in tātou tātou o te Wairoa Trust. We had to consider which model would deliver more immediate benefits and greater control of income derived from the settlement for the kāhui and our iwi, hapu and whānau right from the outset. But we also had to incorporate parts of key strengths of existing PSG models around collective mechanisms of asset management and economies of scale through keeping the principle intact while allowing for kāhui seeking independence to be enabled to do so without the need for further tātou tātou trust deed changes or special resolutions. We have looked closely at all other PSG models of a similar size to tātou tātou and how representation and delivery of benefits to their members is undertaken. However, none of these models are believed to be an appropriate, identical match for the management of our settlement redress due to our circumstances. We are unique, and we need a unique model for our settlement that is tailored specifically to the needs of iwi, hapu and whānau. This is your opportunity to vote on the final representation and asset arrangement model that will help shape the future of our tamariki and mokopuna. The unit trust model reflects a combination of the concepts and models presented to you in the August and November 2017 engagement hui. It incorporates a combination of both consolidated and diversified asset ownership, where the principal settlement is kept together and income derived is either reinvested or distributed to kāhui. In regards to being grouped by kāhui, the feedback we have received is that many whānau think it's best to continue on the path that we have forged through the settlement process so far, being grouped by hapu for representation, then coming together under one umbrella group. Many whānau say they are used to the kāhui structure and feel that it is fair that each group can elect its own representative as trustees on the board. That way, each smaller group's voice is heard, but overall, we are stronger together as one. So, after considering your feedback, the initial trustees recommend we continue with the existing kāhui representation approach for tātou tātou o te Wairoa Trust. Let's now take a close look at the key features of the unit trust model and how the kāhui representation will work within it. All this information is contained in the information booklet from page 14 onwards. So how will kāhui representation work? First and foremost, under the unit trust model, each kāhui needs to have a structure in place in order to be a unit holder in tātou tātou o te Wairoa Trust. There are several requirements for a kāhui structure to stand. 1. It needs to be robust and have clear provisions around the appointment of its governors. 2. The structure may be charitable. However, if it is charitable, it will be restricted to charitable activities. If your kāhui does not have a structure in place currently, it is recommended that a discretionary trust is set up to represent your kāhui on tātou tātou o te Wairua Trust. A template trust deed has been prepared which can be aligned to the specific needs of your kāhui. This can be accessed on the Documents section of our website. It takes approximately 3 months to set up a discretionary trust. More information around the rules of operation for discretionary trusts can be found on page 17 of the information booklet, and we can answer any pātai you have on this after this presentation. If you already have a structure in place to represent your kāhui, your options are 1. To continue using your current structure upon settlement date. 2. To set up a discretionary trust as another entity using the template trust deed. 3. To incorporate aspects of the template trust deed into your current structure by amending your current structure's governing documents. The current trust deeds for the various kāhui who are establishing a new discretionary trust to hold units in tātou tātou o te Wairua Trust can be accessed on the Documents section of our website. Let's take a look at how kāhui are represented on tātou tātou o te Wairua Trust. Each kāhui will elect one representative to tātou tātou o te Wairua Trust to be its tātou tātou representative. The elected tātou tātou representative will be a director of the corporate trustee of tātou tātou o te Wairua Trust. We'll talk more about how the corporate trustee works soon. Each kāhui will have a representative beneficial entity which will hold units in tātou tātou o te Wairua Trust. Each beneficial entity will hold the same number of units initially. 1 unit equals $1 of financial and commercial redress, excluding the value of the interest received as part of an initial distribution to kāhui. Now let's explain what having a corporate trustee means. A corporate trustee is a company which acts as the trustee of a trust. The people who would have been trustees of the trust are appointed as directors. As mentioned before, the elected tātou tātou representative will be a director of the corporate trustee of tātou tātou o te Wairua Trust. We recommend having a corporate trustee for several reasons. 1. It reduces the administrative burden on the trust. What this means practically is that authorised person or persons can bind the trust, instead of all trustees having to sign contracts. 2. It provides protection for trustees and their whānau. Legally, trustees are personally liable, and this can put them and their whānau at risk. The establishment of a corporate trustee provides a layer of protection for those directors who are tasked with this important mahi for the trust. The establishment of corporate trustees is a common approach for a trust managing assets of a significant value, including PSGEs. For example, Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei and Ngāti Porou both have corporate trustees. We think it is important to our values to include a charitable trust arm as part of the unit trust model. This charitable trust will hold 2 units in tātou tātou o te Wairua Trust. The focus of the charitable trust will be to run charitable activities for the benefit of the members of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairua. Equally, we also need to have a part of the trust dedicated to running our commercial activities. Our commercial arm will be managed through a commercial company and board. When we look at board representation on the commercial company, we must ensure this board is separate from the tātou tātou board. The Commercial Board will prepare a statement of investment policy and objectives, which includes the parameters under which the commercial company will operate. And the Commercial Board will make investment decisions within those parameters. The SIPO must be approved by the directors of the corporate trustee of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. When we look at who sits on the Commercial Board, we recommend that a minimum of 5 directors will be appointed and removed by the corporate trustee. At least one member has to reside in the Wairoa district. Directors will have their remuneration set by the Tātou Tātou Board on a fixed fee basis. They will be appointed for a 2-year term initially, then every 3 years thereafter. All directors may be reappointed for a further term or terms. An appointment process would be held to replace a vacancy more than 6 months out from expiry. Where a vacancy existed within 6 months of an expiry, the vacancy would remain until the next appointment. Appointments will be made on a best person for the role basis. That is, they must have the ability and expertise to maximise returns that will either be reinvested or distributed to kāhui. To ensure the best candidate for the role, selections for candidates will need to be done in consultation with a suitably qualified independent agency. What happens to our forest asset? Our forests are treated separately within the unit trust model and are run by their own limited liability companies due to our shared interest with our neighbouring iwi. By the 5th anniversary of the unit trust model being ratified, the beneficial entities representing kāhui with interests in the forests must enter an agreement outlining their interests. If a beneficial entity becomes independent, they will receive shares in the relevant forestry company in proportion to their interest outlined in the agreement. We will discuss some long-term financial forecasts for the unit trust model later on in this presentation. But at a distributions level, part of the interest accrued will be distributed to each beneficial entity over 3 years from the date the unit trust model is ratified in proportion to their units. From the 4th year on, distributions will be made corresponding to the unit interest in December every year at 40% of profits. If a kāhui did not want to receive some or all of their annual distribution, then this could be held by Commercial Board for up to 6 months. A kāhui could also reinvest some or all of its distribution with Commercial Board that would result in increased units for that kāhui. There are set rules when it comes to deferred selection properties, or DSPs. The beneficial entity of a kāhui may choose to purchase a DSP during the first 3 quarters of the DSP selection period for the relevant DSP, after which the Commercial Board may purchase the DSP. Where only one kāhui has an interest in a DSP, that kāhui may notify the Tātou Tātou Board in writing that it wishes to purchase it and work with Tātou Tātou Board to go through the DSP process. The Tātou Tātou Board will instruct the Commercial Board to purchase the DSP and transfer it to the kāhui or its nominee. Note, under the deed of settlement, there's no provision to nominate another entity to purchase DSPs. Where there's an overlapping interest in a DSP, all the kāhui with overlapping interests must establish and nominate a joint entity, which they must determine their respective interests in, to purchase the DSP. They must then notify the Tātou Tātou Board that they wish to purchase the DSP jointly, then work with the trustee to go through the DSP process. The Tātou Tātou Board will instruct the Commercial Board to purchase the DSP and transfer it to the joint nominated entity. The price for a DSP will initially be satisfied by the Commercial Board and on transfer to the kāhui will be satisfied by a payment of cash, through a redemption of units or a mixture of both by the beneficial entity representing the kāhui. Where a beneficial entity has not exercised its right to purchase a DSP during the first 3 quarters of the deferred selection period, or no kāhui has an interest in the DSP, the Commercial Board will be able to purchase the DSP. Rights of first refusal properties, RFRs, will have a similar process to that of DSPs. Where an RFR is triggered, the Tātou Board will notify the kāhui that has indicated an interest and work through the process together. Where there are overlapping interests in RFRs, the Tātou Board will notify the kāhui that have indicated an interest, and these kāhui may establish a joint entity to purchase the property. Where a beneficial entity does not confirm it wishes to purchase the property within a certain time frame, the Commercial Board will be able to purchase the properties. Together, all these features make up our final representation and asset arrangement model. Now let's take a closer look at the kāhui relationship with Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. As explained earlier on, each kāhui will elect one person to be its representative on Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust, the Tātou representative for that kāhui, and a director of the corporate trustee. It is important that the relationship between Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust and each kāhui is two-way. The Tātou representative will report to Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust on the kāhui activities annually. Equally, the Tātou representative will report back to the kāhui on Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust's activities annually. When it comes to appointing kaumātua as and when required, the kāhui will appoint one kaumātua to the Kaumātua Council for Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. In the engagement hui in 2017, we discussed whether there should be the option for a kāhui, or a rōpū as it was referred to then, to leave Tātou o Te Wairoa if it decided that it wanted to be independent. Under this final representation and asset arrangement model, it is proposed that the kāhui may become independent from Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust via a special resolution vote. 75% of adult registered members in the kāhui must validly cast a vote in favour of the special resolution to ratify independence. A beneficial entity that has become independent may rejoin Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust, but it will need to purchase new units at a minimum of 5 million to do so. The Tātou Trust deed needs to be amended to reflect the kāhui independence option. This will be done as part of this vote. There are several key principles achieved through the kāhui independence process. High voting thresholds ensure fairness and a robust process. All adult registered members of the kāhui can vote on the exit, which ensures transparency. And time limits mean that the Tātou Board has certainty going forward. This is due to a kāhui only being able to trigger an independence request within the set time periods. Becoming independent will mean that the beneficial entity representing a kāhui redeems its units in Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust for cash and shares in the forest companies. However, a kāhui will remain a part of Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust in perpetuity because Tātou o Te Wairoa is the PSG for the single comprehensive settlement with the Crown. The cultural redress received as part of the settlement will always stay with Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust, as this is what is contained in our Deed of Settlement and Claims Settlement Act. An independent kāhui will no longer have a trustee representative on Tātou Board, but it will remain connected to Tātou o Te Wairoa through a formal agreement including rights to purchase RFR land and how cultural redress matters will be handled. The amended trust deed will set out the process by which a beneficial entity can become independent from Tātou o Te Wairoa. You can read more about the kāhui independence process on page 19 of your information booklet. Now that we've covered off how the unit trust model will be structured and how the kāhui representation will work within this model, let's take a look at the long-term financial benefit of this type of model. Over the past year, your initial trustees have engaged experts to undertake detailed financial modelling of the unit trust model to assess the likelihood of its financial viability in the long term, and so we can be sure that the iwi, hapu and whānau will benefit. We've looked at costs, return on investment, risks and relevant qualitative factors based on 2 scenarios. You can take a detailed look at the financial modelling on pages 20 to 25 of your information booklet, but we'll also go through this in some detail now. Scenario 1 is where we remain as tātou collective for at least 25 years, where all kāhui manage their assets collectively. Scenario 2 is where one kāhui leaves the collective at a defined point in time, for example after 5 years, and manages their share of pūtea individually. Underpinning all of this were several guiding principles: to mitigate risk, to preserve options, to ensure decisions by consensus, to ensure accountability and transparency that is fair to all parties involved and that involves arm's-length decision-making. You can read more about these guiding principles on page 21 of your information booklet. Now let's take a look at each modelled scenario. Under Scenario 1, all kāhui invest collectively for 25 years. This includes the forest asset with an estimated value of 6.035 million. The forest asset itself is estimated to generate 3% lease income and 1% capital gain per annum. An initial asset allocation of 40 to 60 between growth assets, low-risk assets has been modelled. A final asset allocation of 60-40 between growth assets, low-risk assets over 6 years. This happens once a broader range of investment opportunities are assessed and the collective has greater certainty over the investment term, asset classes and risk appetite that kāhui are comfortable with. Under Scenario 1, cash income and capital gains are expected to grow over time as a result of compound interest and reinvestment. Distributions have been modelled as follows. Initial 3 years of distribution consists of the total 7.4 million of net accrued interest distributed to kāhui. This is indicated by the dark purple columns in the diagram. Each kāhui receives approximately 1 million spread over 3 years if they retain all their units in tātou o Te Wairua Trust. There is no distribution of the portfolio's profits in the initial 3 years, with 100% of earnings reinvested into the portfolio. From year 4, distributions policy is set at 40% of earnings, with the remaining 60% being reinvested into the portfolio. This diagram shows the potential cash distributions for each kāhui over 25 years based on these assumptions. The next 2 graphs illustrate the potential growth in the collective portfolio, diagram 3, and share allocated to each kāhui, diagram 4, over 25 years. It also shows how the income is split between costs, distributions and reinvestment. At the end of year 25, under the modelled assumptions, the initial 113.4 million portfolio capital could grow to 244 million in aggregate. This includes the 6.035 million estimated value of the forest asset. This is an increase of 130.6 million. At the end of year 25, the initial 16.2 million portfolio capital per kāhui could grow to 34.9 million in aggregate. This is an increase of 18.7 million. If any kāhui decide they want to leave the Tātou collective, we are keen to provide the right information to ensure they understand what this means from a financial and investment perspective. We have modelled scenario 2 on the basis that a kāhui becomes independent in year 5. All kāhui initially invest in the Tātou model for 5 years, as per scenario 1. At the start of year 6, one kāhui becomes independent. Asset allocation and distributions remain the same as under the Tātou scenario. However, there are costs to becoming independent. On becoming independent, the kāhui, for example, might incur a cost of $250,000 that includes a contribution to legal, valuation and structuring costs as shown in this diagram. The kāhui is also assumed to incur their own management costs to operate the fund of $450,000 per annum. This is $300,000 per annum greater than the kāhui share of the operating costs of Tātou o Te Wairoa. So we can compare the two scenarios on the same level. The kāhui is assumed to invest in the same investment mix. That is, 60% growth assets and 40% low-risk assets with the same returns. It is important to understand that the kāhui that has become independent may face practical constraints in order to achieve the same result as scenario 1. It may be harder to achieve the same asset mix as the collective, as the smaller investment capital, approximately 15 million, compared with more than 100 million, may restrict the accessibility to invest in certain asset types such as private equity, commercial property, farms and businesses. It may also be more difficult to achieve the same level of diversification, which results in greater risk exposure to single assets compared to the Tātou collective scenario. Assuming the same asset mix and distribution profile, the portfolio income of the kāhui that becomes independent may be less than what could be achieved if the kāhui remains in the Tātou model. This is due to the compounding effect of higher operating costs as shown in this diagram. Kāhui capital could grow from 17.3 million to 26.1 million. But this is 7.1 million lower than the modelled result of remaining in the Tātou collective. This is because of the higher operating costs of the kāhui. To reduce the difference, the kāhui could invest a greater portion of their capital in growth assets, reduce costs while preserving capability, or reduce distributions. The purple dotted line on this graph shows the level of distributions modelled by staying within the Tātou model. By comparing the level of distributions between scenario 1 and scenario 2, this is approximately 100% greater than those achievable under the independent scenario. Now let's recap. We are holding this hui so you can better understand how the proposed unit trust model and kāhui representation will work. We want to ensure you are fully informed before you vote on the special resolution. It's up to you, whānau, to decide if we can move forward with the final asset and representation arrangements. We strongly encourage you to vote yes to the special resolution to 1. Amend the Tātou o Te Wairoa trust deed as set out in the marked up trust deed entitled Revised Version November 2018. And 2. Approve the unit trust model as the asset and representation model for the Tātou o Te Wairoa trust. We'll now have questions and answers. Before we do, we have the following ground rules. Please respect others and remain quiet so that their partai can be heard clearly. Please identify yourself when you speak so we can record your name. Please keep questions related to the final representation and asset arrangement model. For other matters, please talk to one of your representatives. Thanks for your support, whānau. It's crucial in helping us build a positive future for the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. This is the beginning of our new era, and we are so excited and grateful to have you united with us on this journey. Nō reira, from all of us at Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust, ngā mihi kia koutou katoa, tēnā koutou, mauri ora.
Well, thank you, Whānau, for listening for our presentation. Hopefully you've got some interesting questions from what we've seen in the presentation and made us stirred up some ideas or conversation points. I know in Gisborne we got some excellent questions for some of the members there. So without any kind of me holding up and people wanting to get into it, just briefly, this has been, we've had some deep conversations at the trustee level about all these matters, your feedback, what the professionals think, and it's been quite a tiresome and effort to get to the stage, but we think we've done well. Your trustees have done well, and I'd just like to acknowledge the work that they've put in as well to get us to this stage to be able to present this information. So it is, you know, we've hopefully taken all that feedback and presented something that you can see as being worthwhile to support and progressing going forward as a model for the final representation and the asset arrangements. So without any further, I'll hand it to the floor. If anyone's got any questions, Janina over here has got a mic. Can they just talk into the mic, because our whānau like to hear you online talking, and I'd like to know what you're asking in terms of questions. Ka pai.
Kia ora tātou. Ko hira huata tōku ingoa. Ko taku pātai atu nei kia koutou katoa rā. Me pēhea koutou nei kia aro atu ki ngā marae. Me pēhea koutou nei ki te whakaorotonu mai rā ngā mana o ngā marae. Kai roto nei tēnei mea tātou. Ki hai au nei kia kite atu nei I tō koutou nei. Ahungana ki ngā marae.
So what we came up with a representation with is what we've used to so far. In terms of the marae, they will become beneficial entities of the kāhui. So that's where their interests will lie. So they will receive their funding from the kāhui, because they will be written into those kāhui trust deeds that they are entitled to benefit. So that's where their link is. The members as well will be also, the hapu as well will be also linked into those individual kāhui trust deeds as being the benefits of them. So it's through, from tātou makes the money, it gives the income distribution to the kāhui, and from the kāhui, then it goes down to individual members or whatever programs they want to run. If it's on the marae or it's elsewhere, then yeah, it's the kāhui who has those decision-making power about what happens in terms of priorities, if it's an annual distribution to a marae or whatever. That's where that kind of decisions sit nowadays, sit in this model, down at that level. Yeah, so it's written in the trustees. So these trustees, so they'll have the beneficial entities will be listing their marae in most of them. But that's different because different kāhui have a different lens on it. So some may put their maraes and others don't. So it's a key that you get involved and have a look at your kāhui trustees that are up on our website. We've got 2 up there now, but others are going to be soon getting up there, about making sure that connection with the marae is there in your trustee. So if it's in the trustee, then there's no arguing. There's no way for the trustees to say that they're not a benefit of the settlement. Yep. Yeah. So it's the kāhui. Yeah. So the kāhui through this going to have a lot of, I guess, a lot of mana and a lot of power in terms of making decisions on the ground. Previously in the current trustee, that's all up to us 14 to make the decisions of what happens on the ground. So we've said, hang on, let's push that back to the kahui, because they're the ones in touch with the grassroots. They know what's going on. So let them make a decision about what the income of the settlement should be spent on, what priorities should be at that level. Instead of collectively making a blanket decision saying, we're doing this, it may not be a priority for that kahui at that point in time. They may have other priorities. Question? Tawhai.
Kia ora tata, ko Tāpai Johnson a hau, ko Ngāti e Mākoro. I also come from Waikato Moana as well. And I'm just getting my breath back from walking up those stairs. But I want to voice my opinion here. Because basically I think we're going down the wrong track. And I'll give you my reasons. Can you hear me? Yep. I just want to go back a bit where we had this survey about devolution model, and the other option was, what was that? What did they call it?
Consolidated.
Sorry?
Amalgamated.
Yeah,
Amalgamated.
consolidated. And I read that as Tato carrying on, being the head, or devolution, and what I understand is being presented here. But it's been twisted around a bit. That survey, I'm quite happy to tell you the way I wrote my survey. Because I believe, when you go back further, what did we get? 1.5% or 2% of the land value that we lost. But the thing is, that wasn't up to us. It was up to the claimants prior to us that had accepted it. So I guess we got to get in line, and we accepted too. And that's what happened when we went down to sign it off. We got 100 million and a little bit here. Got some old education homes back, or old schools, forestry. So I just want to stay with that 100 million. Do you really think that's enough? Because when you start splitting it up to devolution, to me it's a no-brainer. Because you got to set up the same thing we've done with Tato. You know who the people that are going to come out on top with that? The lawyers, the accountants, all those hangers on. And they're going to have their fees, and then we're going to have trustees and all those different kahui. So instead of having 14 ruling us, and I think that's too many anyway, you're going to have about 60. They're all going to be on the payroll of some sort. They're going to get a sitting fee. But the thing is I'm trying to get at is that, to me, that's the wrong road to take. Now, the role model of that, has that been done before in New Zealand? Or are we, that's, as I understand, we're the initial role model is the first. So straight away, kia tūpato. Because, and I also see in this, you're talking about 25 years. You know, if you're going to split it up at 25 years, I was reading some of the comments in Gisborne and Waido. Oh, what if they wanted more money? And I couldn't quite understand. Oh, you apply to Tato, who's the only body that's there under the PSG with the government to distribute money. So a kahui says, oh, we need money. Need a bit more money, a bit more money. And there's possibly 6 kahui asking. So eventually, Tato get a run out of money. I just want to leave that behind and just share with you the idea that I thought might be a good idea. Wairoa needs a good supermarket. Wairoa has an asset, or Tātou has an asset at Mohaka. Now just look at those two options. If we bought a supermarket in Wairoa and we all owned it, isn't that successful? If we built a resort, a tourism resort in Mohaka and we all own it, I think that's great. But at the same time, there's a bell ringing at the back of my head. And we all say, for our mokopuna, and the mokopuna yet to be born. And you know what I say to myself? Put the money in the bank. You might only get 4%. Lock it up for 10 years. And then look at the interest. And maybe the interest, our lifetime, might be able to invest or whatever. You know, investing is high risk. I just want to do a couple of scenarios. You think you got a lot of money. You know, the bank, the government bailed out Air New Zealand. You know how much they got? 600 million. And all they do is fly airplanes. Now, another one is the Canterbury Finance recently. Oh, you know, last 3-4 years. They bailed them out. So what I'm trying to say, we haven't got a windfall. We've only got 2% of what we should have got. If we had $1 billion, which I reckon we should have got, then we might be able to start playing around with it a bit. But 100 million and our mokopuna, you know, we're here today. We're making decisions. What about our old people? Think about them, what they had to put up with. You know, I've got to say this. I was disgusted with our Pākehā brothers. Disgusted. You only have to listen to the apology. Why aren't we taking that apology to our schools and teach our mokopuna what actually happened? And you know that apology only touched the edges, only touched the edges of your tūpuna that was slaughtered. That was slaughtered, brutally slaughtered. And then they took all their land off. And now, 150 years ago or 60 years, they're apologising and giving you 2%. We got to be very careful, people. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror and ask the question. Because the claim finally got something out of it, or we got our claim, does that say that belongs to you? Is that your money? To me, no. A lot of blood is on that money. So we got to think twice. And to me, to guarantee our mokopuna and those yet to be born, put it in the bank, get 4 or 5%, go there 10 years' time, look at the interest. Look at the interest and say, well, maybe we can do this. I know our marais need money, need help. I know our urupas are full. I know there's a lot of need to upgrade our marais. But to me, those are little things. We got a forest up there. Do what Tu Whare done. They got a carpenter, electrician and a plumber and an architect. And they got the timber off their state forest. And they went around each marae and done it up. And those ones got paid. And those 50 or so labourers, they're all on the dole, they got paid. Happened to the government. But at least, you know, that's not big money. It's money that's needed. But to me, I was in business for 22 years, and we got to go kia tūpato. That's the reason why I never agreed to devolution. And I see this way here, I'm sorry to say, it's twisted. To the trustees, what's being presented is twisted. Because when the survey was done, I don't know the results. I don't know the results. And the other hiccup after that was the trust deed. The trust deed was still only in draft copy. And then we engaged with another lawyer. One thing I got to say is that to the trustees, I wasn't happy with it when I heard a gag order was put in there. I don't know the reason why, a gag order. You know what a gag order is? Shut your mouth. That's what it means. We'll only tell the people what we want them to know, but shut your mouth. To me, that's a gag order. And there was a lot of kōrero. Oh, no, we can't say that. That's in the gag order. Or we can say this, but we can't say that. You know, it leaves us in a position. What the hell are we here for? Now, when I see this happening, it's like we've already agreed, and you've already told us we want a yes. We want a yes. Well, I'm sorry. No yes in my replies, because I don't think there was enough done.
Okay.
I'm still going back to when we had the survey.
Yep. Okay.
At that time, I felt that we should have then done a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
So if I've only got this time, well, I'll sit down. But I hope you got my message.
Thank you, Tawhai. There's a lot there, a lot of, I guess, to unpack in what you've just said. A lot of it too relates back to the process of Crown negotiations and that, and we didn't get enough money. Of course we didn't get enough money. They're never going to give us enough money. You know, it's just enough for them to clear their guilty conscience, so they can move on. But we were the left with dealing with this now. And the good thing about it is that we've got them out of the way by getting to this point to make this decision. Now, if they're still in there, like all the other treaty settlements are yet to be settled, they're still trying to manipulate us, dictate to us, or what we can't and can't do. Now, we've taken everyone's feedback that we've gone through, and the feedback is diverse. And your point about not supporting the devolution and keeping it together, that definitely was at the trustee table. It was raised. But we also had to respect and acknowledge someone else's different perspective on it as well, and come up with something that also they can see. I can see where I can benefit and participate in this. It's not up for the trustees themselves to say, this is going to be it. We've decided that some of those decisions need to be made down at the kauri level about what they do. We've locked up, in the presentation, you see these, the principal or the settlement regis is staying together for 5 years. Now, 5 years at 4% is not very much, but if they were to invest it wisely and get 8%, that's why we want the best people in there to make sure we can get the best returns on that money, not just put it in the bank because we're losing, we're not doing justice. We need to make sure we maximize it because there's no other settlement, one in a lifetime, so we need to look after it. That's why we've taken that best aspects of other PSGs by keeping that quantum together, because that's what they did well. A lot of other PSGs focus on maximising that from the outset. But there's things on the ground back in Wairoa we want to do now. Do we have to wait to get that done? A lot of the feedback was, no, we want to get on and start doing that, encouraging our whānau to come back home, create those jobs. I don't know if Toro will like me about one of the Moaka though. I might get the kick out of there. But yeah, definitely like the supermarkets or whatever other business activities, we want to make Wairoa prosperous again so the whānau can move back there and live there on their land, have jobs, have good health, access to health, all the key services. So we need to get that going. Now, we cannot wait any further. We've been waiting right now. Enough waiting. We need to get on and start doing. In terms of your kind of, I guess say gag order, there was no gag order. But we need to have those frank discussions amongst ourselves. And for us to release part of those frank discussions without us reaching a decision gets misinformation out there. We need to get to the end of the discussion and have reached a consensus decision before we release that. Not be involved every whānau, involve Facebook, YouTube, and all this discussion, because what happens? Misinformation. Everyone gets the wrong end of the stick. Everyone starts jumping up and down and then saying, hey, we're still discussing this. We're still bringing up what those issues are. It's when we get to the end, like we've done here, all those frank discussions are presented here. All that, put it all up to there, is now being presented today. How we got there was our journey. You know, and part of that journey we realised we had to take our kahui along with it. And a lot of this, we started to involve our kahui in terms of them being more professional, setting up their entities, and that's why we proposed the legal structure for the kahuis, because they also need to lift. It's just not this Tātou Trust that needs to lift, because what happens is you stretch. The ones at the top are starting to go, and the ones at the bottom stay here. So we need to lift from the bottom up, not the top. You know, let's start it. That's why we support the kahui, the principle, have our connection with Tātou to the kahui, professional relationship, making sure we've got all the right people at the kahui level, because that's where key decisions are going to start to be made. That's why we've dropped ourselves down to 14. We don't need 14, we only need 7 people, because a lot of the mahi are going to be done at the kahui level now. They are going to be really keen, so that's where you need to be involved, whānau, is with your kahui, because they're going to be making some key decisions about where things are going. Is it marae-based, is my representation marae-based, hapu-based? Where we're going to be spending our annual distribution pute. Do we even take our annual distribution pute? Because that's an option. If the 7 kahui could come together and say, Carl, when I take our distribution, we'll leave it with Tātou and leave it in there. And it can be built up over a 5-10 year period. But it still gives the option for those who want to take out a distribution. We're not setting everything in stone. We're giving that flexibility for the kahui to make those decisions. It's about getting some of the decisions back to the kahui, down the grassroots. That's what we're trying to present here, and that's what the core of the model is. Kahui are going to become really essential in our direction as we move forward in our history. They're going to be really important. So we've got to get good people on there as well, so they can make good decisions, like hopefully we are. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Hilary Hape Seymour. I'm observing today, and what I noticed, well, I've got a couple of questions for the PSG, is the connection to your actual iwi, so I'm thinking of Ngāti Kahununu. Also, I want to see if you know of any other PSGs and their connection or relationships with the iwi. Because what I see is actually reinventing the wheel when you've already got things already in place, and you could probably work out some way that you can save on these costs, like what Koro said before, instead of trying to do it all over again and using lawyers and everything again, because that is expensive, or administration costs. I actually tautoko what Koro said, because his way is practical. That's how our people are, practical. You want to see it. You don't want to. And I understand about why you want to invest, because and it is high risk because you want a higher return. But I just like to tautoko what he said.
Yeah. So thanks, Hilary. We have got within Tātou there are a number of iwi, not just one. So we need to recognise that first. So just saying that we're connected just to one it kind of limits us. So we want to make sure we got that option and preservation in the kahui level, and for Tātou, the flexibility to have those multiple relationships, not with just one, but multiple with our neighbours as well, because some of the forests are with our neighbours, so we need to have multiple relationships. So we'll be working at a Tātou level with Niki, as well as we've been working currently with Tamarihiri and the likes of whoever gets the mandate up in Ruapani. So we need to work with everyone involved. So it's going to be a multiple strategy, multiple party approach. So we want to make sure that we can learn off them, because that's what we've done so far. We've looked at what they're presented in their models, but we need to drive a bit deeper into the operational side. So for a Tātou's perspective, we're trying to be a lot more leaner, because we know some of the delivery is going to be happening at the kahui level. So if we're leaner, we're not taking up a lot of admin costs. So we don't need a big staff. We only need a handful of people to run Tātou, because our core focus on is the cultural redress. The commercial, as you would have seen, is run by a separate board, commercial directors. So they're the expertise in that. So we don't need people delivering social services and the likes of that. We've got existing partners up in Warrell that are doing that, Kahununu Executive, the Trust Board as well. So we would look to them too to partner up. But the partnerships will be also with kahui having those partnerships too. So it's about coming together as we are with our collective body, having a discussion about where our key partnerships will be with and who they will be with. It won't be just with kāhui doing everything on their own, like you say, reinventing the wheel. That's where the economies of scale comes in with us being here. To say, hang on, how about these ones over here doing this, these ones over here doing, why don't you get together? We can facilitate that. So that's key. So that two-way relationship, two-way information flow.
Kia ora whana, Harley rā te mera o Swinch ko oku ingoa. Ko Harley rā te mera o Swinch oku ingoa. I was just wondering, once this is over, how do we stay involved with our kāhui? Do we go through you, or how do I become involved with it?
Good point. And at the back there's some representatives. At the moment, currently the trustees are here. But through your kāhui, they have their, they'll be establishing their trustees this month in terms of getting that finalised. So go to our website to have a look at that. That'll give you an indication of what the kāhui trustee will look like in terms of their representation, how they plan on running elections, how they plan on who are going to be the beneficial entities of those kāhui. But the contact details currently are through the trustees. But if you're with Te Whakaki Nui Arua Trust, or Te Hongongo Ngā Awa Trust, or Te Wairo Tapakoro Whānui Trust, we've got representatives at the back who'll be able to give. They've got brochures there about what their contact details are. I think other trusts have got Facebook pages, like Pāka has, Rongo Mawahine has, Tapakoro One has, Hinu Manihere has. So, yeah, just get involved through the online media and social media. Yeah, so with registrations, Tata Tata currently has that collective database. That'll continue on. So you just continue to register with Tata Tata. Your information, when you tick your information about which kāhui you whakapapa to, that'll then go into, each of the individual kāhui has access to that. So they'll build up their distribution lists from that. So if you're already registered, don't worry about it. The kāhui is going to get access, or are getting access to that to get that information, including their current trustees. So you can have a look at that.
Kia ora tātou. Ko wihuata. Contrary to you tāwhai, I actually got a complete vote of confidence in you trustees. And I suppose it's because, Richard, and my sister and others, you guys have spent a lifetime working for the best interest for our people. And to get to this point and to get a third reading, it's a real tribute to you. And I'll just stop there because I don't intend on making a speech. But I think you called it the deferred purchase assets, is it? What do you call it?
The deferred selection property.
What I want to know is that have you guys already decided on what some of those assets might be? And if so, had you come to that decision? And before you answer that, what I know of Wairo is that its uniqueness is both its soil and its weather. And I hope that because a lot of the hara of the past is also a loss of land, that perhaps you guys are seeing that combined with its uniqueness and the land, that these might be some of the things that you guys have put on the table. But what do you guys deciding, or what have you decided? Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora, we can acknowledge the effort and everyone going to the third reading. There was a challenge in itself. We had that little hiccup with had to amend our trustee, so all the whānau who voted for that as well. So we thank you all for that and helping us get through that process. I guess another Crown step that we weren't anticipating. So we were hoped to have come out with this to you earlier, but so be it. The Crown wanted to put those roadblocks in their place. But just a mihi to everyone who attended and down at the third reading. Concerning the DSB properties, what's contained currently in the trust deed is a list. So we've taken all the property redress that was in our deed of settlement and put it in a list in our trust deed. Now each of those kāhui have indicated whether they have an interest in those particular properties, whether the DSPs, RFRs, or the cultural redress. So then at least we know who's having that conversation. Because at least a kāhui has indicated that they have an interest in a particular DSP property, then they get that right of that 75% of the term of the DSP period to make a decision on whether they purchase it. So it's the kahuis initially get the first priority because there wasn't a whole lot of other land and assets that came back in the settlement. So it should be rightful that that's all the Crown had on offer. So we were offering it back to the kahui first to make a decision about whether they want it. And then if they obviously don't want it, as the presentation said, then our commercial board will have a look at it. So, we didn't the settlement didn't specifically say these particular properties are going back to certain kahui. It was just one single comprehensive settlement, and in that list, now we've kind of determined, well, the individual kahui have determined where their interests lie. So it's quite specific and quite direct.
Oh, well, maybe I've referred to the wrong area in terms of the DPAs, or whatever you call them. Yes. Maybe it's, I suppose, more of other non-government assets.
Yeah. So there's another particular property that's like on private property or anything like that comes up, and obviously the kahuis can make a decision about whether they can afford to buy it on their own, or they can partner up with another kahui who may have an interest in here as well to jointly purchase it, or else the third option is they can then come and approach the likes of the commercial board to work out an arrangement that the commercial board buys it. So that's about using some of their units. So they can use some of their units to look at some of these particular properties that are going to become available in the district, and gives them the flexibility to either work together, work with our commercial board, or even work with other whānau, other entities like the corporations, the Ahu Whenua Trust in the district. It gives them the flexibility to say, I can come up with a certain part of the pūtea. How about we joint venture or partner up so that we can buy this property? It gives us more options, even borrow using the banks, because we've got income coming in annually through the annual distribution to even approach. So it gives a lot of flexibility, but decisions are made at the kahui level. So the commercial board, I would expect they would be more focusing on regional, national, international. Kahuis will be focusing on the local.
Kia ora, Leon. Look, I don't want to get into a debate, but if I can just respond to your reply. I didn't mean Mohaka. Sorry for our possibility of setting up a tourism resort there. It was actually Mōrere. Sorry. When you said, and I go back to the head, be tato, not Rākai Pāka, although it is a Rākai Pāka land, but we're working together. And the other thing is you mentioned to maximise the, what was the word you, but...
commercial redress, the settlement, the fund, yeah.
Yeah, maximise that.
Maximise returns.
To me, we got to be careful there too, because you also got to minimise the risk. And that goes arm in arm with that statement, what you said. And that's where I said we got to go kia tūpato. The question I'd just like to ask, the commercial arm, is that going to stay with Tātou Tata?
Yep. So the commercial arm is directly under control of Tātou Tata. So Tātou Tata appoints those directors, the 5 that sit on there, appoints them, hires and fires them. It's the commercial board comes up with that, what they call a statement of investment priorities and objective, the SIPO. So they come up and saying, this is where we think we're going to take the commercial redress and where we're going to spread it across. Now, a typical commercial board will look at short-term, medium-term, long-term to kind of mitigate risk and diversify as well into other portfolios. So not just put it in the bank, put it into the bank, share market, and other investment opportunities. So, but we generally they come up with it. We'll set some other parameters around what you can't invest in, and making sure they're not investing in guns, alcohol, and all those other stuff that harmful activities. Make sure they're staying out of that, and also making sure that they deliver that annual return. So it's no good if it's the graph shows it going up if it's going the other way because they're investing too much into other things that we can't get a return annually. So we need to make sure that return comes back so we can then feed it down to the kahui.
Kia ora, ko Maurice Marshall ahau. Respect to you, Matua, for your kōrero. For me personally, I support what Brother Wee said over there. I know that when we had the survey, the decision was split. So 50-something% wanted us to stay together as a collective, but there was a loud voice, I don't know, 40-odd%, who wanted devolution and wanted to break away as an individual kāhui. Now, I know, Tato, you had a big responsibility, because how do you please both sides of the coin? So what I see presented here today is a beautiful marriage of all of that came back through the survey. So for the first 5 years, we are locked in collectively. I'm talking about scenario 1. We are locked in collectively, where all the asset will remain as one. And I really like what you've done, where any of the interest or profit made for those first 3 years is going to be divided evenly into 7 portions and returned back to each of our 7 kāhui. And then it's up to the kāhui to decide what they do with their payout each year, whether they choose to invest it in the marae or whatever. But I also appreciate and respect that you have given those that chose or voted for devolution that after 5 years they can actually go down that pathway. So I see in your book there that by year 6, if they have chosen to withdraw their 7th portion of the pūtea, that at that point they become completely responsible for whatever investment decision making that they make. So I congratulate you, because you had a big job to do to keep both sides happy, and I think that the scenario 1 is fantastic. For me, with an accounting background, what I will say, we keep hearing this word, maximise profits, make the most money of your investment. Well, the best way to do that is to keep all the pūtea together. And in this booklet, which is well put together, it shows what happens if you split away your 16.2 million share, that you will not attain the kind of profit return with your smaller portion as you could if it was all kept together as one block amount. But I appreciate, and I'll say it again, that you have given the option to those kāhui who choose to split away to do that if they want to take control and do their own investments. So yeah, I just wanted to tautoko your plan. For me personally, I love that scenario 1. Kia ora.
Thanks, Reese. There's a couple of other clarifications there on that. On when if a kāhui wanted to become independent, they have the first 3 years after ratification of this trustee to make that decision. And of course, we've got to give our commercial arm a bit of leeway to get the funds available for them to exit. So that first 3 years, you make a decision, you want to be independent, you make it in there, and then on the 6th year, you get your fund, your money. And then again, in year 10, and 10 years afterwards, there is a process. So it's just not upfront first years, there's ongoing, because we know we want to develop the capability of kāhui over time, over the decades, so you may become a point in time when the kāhui's reached that ability to exit, but we still want to preserve that option.
Leon, I understand the commercial arm over here, and ngā koutou ngā trustees, ngā directors, yous are the ones that will be directing the commercial arm. One of the things I have sometimes in concern is the robustness of some of these commercial arms. And when I look at some of our iwi that have lost something like $12 million within their claims, that's been to the lack, as far as I'm concerned, the lack of good advice for investing. So if we've got this commercial arm that's going to be looking at the investments of Te Wairoa, and you've got yous over here, how robust is the decision-making processes that you will have within the trustees understanding what those ideas and investments that over here, the commercial arm is, because they're supposed to be expertise in that field. And who monitors all of that whole process in order for you to be guiding the asset to that 244 million, or whatever it was that you said, 25 years later?
So basically, like I said, is that the key document here is that Statement of Investment Priorities and Objectives, the SIPO. So that lays out that framework for which the directors have to operate within. A lot of times, not PSGs don't give them a detailed enough framework, and what ends up happening is those with the money tend to wag the tail wagging the dog, wag the trustees, because they think it's their money. So we want to make sure the trustees retain control by having a good Statement of Investment and Priorities, setting out certain levels of investment. So if they wanted to go do a 10 million investment, that's fine, but if they wanted to go do a 50 million, they got to bring a business case back to the trustees to make sure they get the trustees' approval. If it's over 25% of the Tato group asset, then we need to come back to you to make sure we get your approval, because that's what's considered a major transaction. So we need to put all those little steps in to say, little increment ones, say a small one, yes, we'll give you the flexibility, because at the end of the day, we don't want to give them too much oversight into what they're doing, because it doesn't give them the flexibility. They are the experts. They just need to implement our vision. That's what they're there to do. So, but we need to put those safe controls, like you say, in it, to make sure that when you're talking key amounts and key decisions, you've got to come back to the trustees with a kind of a business plan for it.
So in saying that, if we're looking at investing in towards our rangatahi or investing into our future, has the Tato got a plan that is looking where the commercial arm is actually looking at investing within our rangatahi? So whereas we got fire over here, there are accountants, you got rangatahi around, from Kahungunu, Kita Wairoa, all those business arms, how does the commercial arm demonstrate the accountability and the investment, investing within our own whānaus to be carrying out those?
So some of that involves setting that 5-year strategic plan, which we've got in draft form currently, and we'll put up on the website. But also, that 5-year strategic plan needs to link to the kahui too. They need to be seeing it, so then they know where they need to be in that base about on the ground with the rangatai, kaumātua, and that doing stuff on the ground. Because it's not just Tato doing it, it's our kahui doing it too. They are responsible for delivering some of this. We're giving them the pūtea to deliver it, and they need to be held account too, to making sure that 5-year strategic vision for all of us is being implemented. And they have that similar 5-year kind of vision. Some of the priorities probably will be different, but at least we're moving in that same direction with implementing our vision.
Kia ora tātou, ko Paura Rātapu tēnei, he uri no rangiāhua, no hinemihi, no te reinga, no te Ātihau. So, ka tautoko te mihi ki a koutou, ngā trustees, ko whakapau kaha, ko whakapau were ki ēnei whiringa kei mua i a tātou. I would just like to say I'm Paul Rātapu tēnei. I'm from Mahia with the Rātapus from Tauapata. I'm a trustee on the Rongo Mai Wahine Iwi Trust Board for Te Ātihau, one of the Ngāti Kairo trustees. And I just want to give some feedback from our mini kahui hui that we have back at Mahia. The overwhelming majority of our whānau from Mahia who are back at the pā every month huiing about this kaupapa support option 2 for the unit trust. And the kaupapa behind the take for that is, one, our Iwi Trust Board for a long time is now moving forward and taking our people with them. We've got a $4 million predator-free program, which is providing jobs and pūtea coming into our rohe. We've got MOUs with Rocket Lab, providing scholarships for our tamariki to go to university, putting resources into our school. And we don't want the other kahui who are just starting their journey to hold us back. You know, I know pūtea is important, but as a treaty claim, ko te mea tuatahi, ko te mana motu hake o tātou tīpuna.
And rongo mai wahine, as an iwi, we have our own mana motu hake, recognised by Ngai Tā Manuhiri, recognised by Te Aitanga Hauiti, as a full member of the Iwi Chairs Trust. And I just want to put it out there, we've also got a kāhui meeting on the 25th, back at the PA at 10 o'clock. With respect to the pūtea, you know, I work in the commercial world, building factories over the world for places like Kraft Heinz and that. And what counts isn't the dollars in the bank, it's about the cents in your head. So, you know, money is one thing, but you have to have the business acumen. And our trust board and our trustees like Leon and the Kazi Moana, they're putting the runs on the board for our iwi. And we need to tautoko them by tautoking number 2. Kia ora tātou.
Thanks, Paul. The key thing Paul's brought up there is the capability at the kahui level. You know, kahui's, as he said, starting out on different journeys. We've been on a different journey, different paths. Some are just going to start, some are wanting to go in that independent phase. That's what the long-term goal and vision is, for all us to be independent, because that's what we originally were. It wasn't until the Crown came along and dismantled that whole structure, because they wanted access to the whenua. Now we need to build it back up, put it back in place to what it was, what our ancestors, how they lived by. Everyone understand that the kahui trustees has currently been developed. I think each kahui decided to do a separate trust, a new trust deed for tātou tātou. So in the presentation you would have seen there was options using existing structures. The existing structures of those kahui who had an existing trust in place weren't fit for purpose, basically. After independent legal advice and our lawyers talking with their lawyers, it was best that a separate discretionary trust be set up. So all the 7 kahui are setting up 7 new discretionary trusts to create that formal link, and their existing trusts or whatever are linking into that. I know it's quite complex, but we needed something that was unique for us. And I think this is what this is. It's unique for all the quarter that's been said. You know, we tried our best to build into everyone's perspectives, and I think we've achieved that. But at the same time, it's the keys going forward is going to be with the kahui. They're going to help shape this future, and we need to be on a journey with them to do it and support them. They need to tell us what they need. It needs to be two-way.
Hilary again. I just wanted to see if, from what I've gleaned so far, and just to see if for what the Koro Johnston said. So, am I right in thinking that the kahui are the ones that can put forward and say, like, we've got Koro Johnston here. Let's use the forest and build out, you know, practical. He's got a practical solution. So he will go to his kahui and present that, and they will feed back to you, and then you will try and make it work. Or, you know, even though, because to me it's like it's not putting your eggs all in a basket. I mean, like you say, there's the diversification. You can actually sort it out in other ways. The practical side, you know. And I'm just putting it out there to see if that's what I was thinking I would do if I was in his shoes.
Yep. No, definitely. There's opportunities, like the supermarket idea is like those with kahui with an interest, mana whenua, obviously, of course, starting with them. Say, hey, is something you're interested in? Is the other kahui you're interested in partnering up on this to go into a joint venture? And they would come up with an idea of how it would look in terms of structure, and then seek funding in terms of coming back through to the tātou to say, well, this is a good idea, this is our business plan, these are our proposals. Diversifying in the forest, you know, we've appointed 2 directors onto Whareata Forest, Julian Conn and Shane Walker, and also appointed 2 directors onto Putanomu Forest, Richard Booking and Brian McKinley. So what we're trying to do, we had our first meeting with them, is to get them to understand our aspirations. So a lot of this is going to go back to the kahui. What are your aspirations for those assets that you've listed, you got an interest in? So if you can build those aspirations and they flow on through to us, then we can make sure it happens. And some of those aspirations you'll have your own funding for, which is your own Kauri interests, but there'll be some collective other aspirations because you may not be the only one with an interest in there. We need to be respectful of everyone who has an interest. Okay? No further questions? It is a little bit, hopefully it's not too complex, but hopefully the presentation. Cool. Okay. Kia ora.
Anā reira, tēnā koutou, ngā mau taupua, me o koutou whakāturanga kia tātou katoa tēnei ata tēnei ahi. Nā reira, ngā mihi ki ngā whānau katoa, ko hui mai nei, ki te whakarongorongo atu ki ngā kupu kōrero. Kātai ka kapingi tātou i te hui. Kapi ai nuku, kapi ai kapi a tēnei hui i o te mataho. Whakatangatanga ki runga, whakatangatanga ki raro, ita, mauri, ora oi. Nau mai ngā hua te wautapunu i nā tāne o te ngā ki nā rongo o te waitai nā tangaro, tūturu whakamaua kia tina. Hara mai te toki haumi hui tā iki. Kia ora.